Hello, Blunt Truth, Part 2, the Steels vid. In Part 1 we covered my preference for large, heavy use knives, which is basically carbon steels, and because they don't have to hold an edge incredibly well because they're for hard use, chopping and heavy cutting and splitting. You shouldn't care if they rust a little bit. If you keep them oiled, they won't rust. But you know, they're hard use tools, so you want carbon so they don't break. We covered all that in Part 1. Now, stainless, just about every folder, just about, but not every, uses stainless because you want your folder to keep looking nice, for one, so you don't want the metal to rust. Number two, you're not going to use your folder for hard use, hard chopping, splitting and things. You shouldn't be anyway. If you're going to do those kind of things, you should have a larger carbon knife, as we talked about. And three, with stainless, you can get a harder edge. Stainless steels, when they drop the carbon to a lower level, they can add lots of other things, such as vanadium, and make the steel much harder. It also makes it brittle, but if you're not going to use it for chopping and things, a little bit of brittleness is acceptable, as long as it doesn't get to be too much. I find some steels have too much brittleness and chip too easy. You hit a little knot, or you hit a staple cutting cardboard, which happens to me a lot, and it chips out. Bad thing. I don't like that. So, my favorite steels, as most of you know, are S30V. Let me just show you the list right now. Now, I don't have experience with every steel in the world, and I don't have experience with every manufacturer in the world, so I can't speak for everything. But the ones I have experience with are here, except for the ones here with the green dots. The green dot ones, I do not have experience. With H1, I don't have any knives in that, I never did yet. And CPM S90V, I would love to have a Spyderco military in that. And right now, I don't. All these other ones I have had, and I do have, mostly I do have all of them now. And I have lots of experience with most of them. So this isn't a list of hardness. This is my order of preference. Some of the harder ones are right in the middle of the list, such as VG1, BG42, and 154CM. Why? As you see, because they chip easy. Hard but not tough. Not tough enough for any kind of use, because as soon as you hit anything hard, you have a major problem with chips or flat spots. I don't really like one. My experience with 154CM is it doesn't hold an edge so great. It's not an equivalent of ATS-34. It has different chemical composition, and it doesn't perform the same. To my opinion, I know everyone says it does, but not in my experience. ATS-34 is a lot better than 154CM to me. VG1 is far too brittle. My experience with the one knife I have in BG42 is that it chips and doesn't hold an edge very well, even though it's rated very hard, I think 61. So here you go down the list, from worst to best, right down. You can see S30V and then CPM S30V. Cruciables is a company that makes many metals, including D2 and S30V and other metals. They have very, very high quality control standards. You really do. You really want CPM. They're generally accepted as a very high quality raw metal producing company. There's a difference between S30V and CPM S30V. Benchmade uses S30V. Spyderco uses CPM S30V. I'll get into that a little bit in a minute. There are two unique steels that kind of ride the fence post between stainless and carbon because they have lots of carbon and lots of chromium. D2 has other metals, other elements besides chromium and carbon. But D2 is a really good metal. I like it a lot, and it can be used in a folder, such as this Benchmade is made with D2. And it can also be used in medium-sized survival knives, but I wouldn't go past 6 or 7 inch size, and I wouldn't be too aggressive with it. ZDP 189 is a very unique steel. It has tons of carbon and it has tons of chromium in it and nothing else except iron. Very unique, and I do have one knife in that. I don't have a lot of experience with it yet, so I can't really speak to it. When I get experience, I'm going to review it and we'll see what ZDP 189 does. Spyderco's Super Steel. So there's my list. You know, you pause that, write it down, copy it, whatever you want to do if you're interested. But you know, I might change my mind in the future, but in general experience, this is what I find to be the list of, in order of quality, in order of my preference, I should say, my opinion. Like I said, D2 is sometimes used in folders, like this Benchmade is D2. And it's because it's a semi-stainless. It will rust, but not much, not easily, not too easily. It is hard, super hard, because they can heat treat it to a very hard level, and it's still tough and a little pliable, strong, because it's got a lot of carbon. So it makes a good medium-sized knife all the way down to a folder. It's really a really good knife all around. I mean, a good steel all around. D2, I like D2. But you should keep it a little oiled. It will rust on you a little bit. And it is hard. It can chip. You can't just cut anything with it. But as I proved in my demo of this knife, this Rat 7 in D2, where I chopped through a heat-treated 4x4 without any damage to the edge. It can take some hard work. Now, Spyderco CPM S30V and Benchmade, the difference is Benchmade tends to have really hard heat treating in all their metals. They're 154 cm, they're D2, everything they use, they heat treat it really hard, and that makes it a little bit brittle. This has actually gotten little flat spots in it before, not chips, but it just sort of flattens out the edge a little bit here and there. It's a little harder. A slight softer steel tends not to get flat spots as easy, little nicks in it. I really like CPM. It's easy to sharpen, takes a razor edge real good, and so far it's my favorite. And CPM is real good. Now, companies to avoid are companies that use China exclusively. China, if you want a junk knife that you don't want to care about much, fine, go with China. You don't have to worry about it, like the Tenacious, right? Spyderco's only knife made in China, if you don't count the Bird line. Bird knives are all made in China. Now, when I did the review, a lot of people commented that my knife doesn't have all that wavy pattern in the blade, the wavy grind. Some do, some don't. Notice that mine flicks out nice now, right? People said, oh, mine flicks out fine, no problem with bushings. Notice this flicks fine, right? It's nice and solid. Guess what? You know what these are? Yeah, the bushings. There's no bushings in it, and it works just fine. That's how well those bushings worked. They're junk. If you get a real knife with real nice bushings, you'd see a major difference between those things and real bushings, okay? I'm not going to go back into the Tenacious. Chinese quality control sucks. You want high quality control so you know you're getting a decent knife. Benchmade, Spyderco, many other companies have high quality control. Cold steel doesn't always. The Chinese knives suck. Gerber, they're all made in China. Don't take them serious, but they're priced right. They're priced like Chinese knives. So Gerber's okay if you know what you're getting. You're getting what you pay for. Okay, it's a Chinese knife at a Chinese price. Colorado Knife and Tool is not priced like a Chinese knife, and they are made in China, and they generally have sucky quality. I don't like CRKT. I do own a bunch of them. I'm going to review a couple of them. semi-favorably on a couple, but generally CRKT I think suck. They're overpriced. They run the prices up too much for being a Chinese crap knife. Poor quality control, inconsistent manufacturing processes. I don't really like them. I don't like Gerber much, but they're priced right. The bottom of the line is Kershaw. They have decent quality. They have decent quality control and decent production and, you know, decent prices and decent steel. Maybe priced a little high. My favorites are Spyderco and Benchmade. I think Benchmade started out being overpriced, but they've done a lot better. I'm running out of time on this, so I'm going to end it right here. Thank you. I hope you learned something. Bye.